But this is ECW original Mikey Whipwreck, and you're listening to Rob Wild and Chris Casanova on WrestleShoot. And the immortal words of Terry Funk, hammer.
Congratulations! You have found WrestleShoot, hosted by the Wild Thing Rob Wilds and the Ladies Man Chris Casanova. Combined, we have 40 years of wrestling experience, and we're here to share those experiences, stories, and knowledge with you over the podcast airwaves. We'll be joined by friends of ours from time to time to share their stories and experiences with you as well. So climb aboard the crazy train we call WrestleShoot. We know how to do it, and we do it real well. Maybe. Holy sweet jumping Jesus, WrestleShoot is actually back. Had to take a little bit of time off dealing with some family health issues. But we're back. Chris, I missed you.
I miss you too, man. Like so much. Like a lot.
It was dreams. And, we finally got another woman to join us for our Women of WrestleShoot. And we, of course, had to put her off a couple of times because we're so unprofessional. But,
maybe you. Well, me too. Okay. No.
Yeah. Hey, shut the hell up. All right, goddammit. Who just told Chris to shut the hell up? We're trying to do a podcast here. You see how I took it back?
Someone did, damn it.
Someone did, goddammit. I think you need to knock it off. Yeah, so
that's not nice.
I think we need to come back in and immediately recognize that since we last broadcasted, we lost Brody Lee. And, man, that fucking stinks.
Yeah, such a great worker, person, just all around, family man, everything. Yeah, the world has definitely lost a great person. Still can't believe it. Just out of nowhere, man.
Now, you know me. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy at all. That's just not what I do. But it seems kind of odd that every single article that says how he died says, oh, he died from a lung infection that was non-COVID related. Really? Like, would they really all be so specific to say that? I'm not a conspiracy theory nut job. I swear to Christ, I'm not. But that just...
But they had to throw that in there.
Yeah. Just seems a little on the strange side to me. But...
yeah.
Maybe that's just something that his family wanted to put in there. Who knows? You hear all these conspiracy nut jobs saying, oh, people are being accredited dying from COVID who really didn't. So I don't want us to fall into that category of psycho.
Yeah, I know. I hear you on that. But I agree. I think it's a little bit of conspiracy theory, but we don't need to go into that.
Man, we've lost some great talents here recently. I mean, man. We always say, the boys go in threes because they do, but that whole go in threes theory has been thrown out the window this last round.
Oh, yeah. It seems like an average, almost once a week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been crazy. It's like this, boom, boom. It's like, wow.
I mean, it gets kind of depressing when we're going to get ready to record a podcast. We're like, Jesus Christ, who are we going to have to talk about who died? Or who are we going to have to talk about that sexually attacked a woman? I mean, we've been dealing with those two issues so frequently in the business lately. It's just sickening.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but it's not because of COVID. So.
COVID crazy.
COVID crazy.
COVID crazy. So, I know that it is 2021, but I feel remiss if we don't throw out at least two more candidates for Asshole of the Week for 2020. And then I'm going to jump on Facebook and I'm going to try to get as many opinions as I can get so we come back on next week and name Asshole of the Year. And I'm looking forward to that one.
Me too. So is this going to be a vote? I mean, we're going to take the fans' opinion on this, or we're going to do like a little poll? Okay,
cool. We're going to take everybody's feedback. So, I mean, I'm not saying that the fans are going to vote in who's going to win unless we get some overwhelming, like it's Rob Wilds. Rob Wilds is definitely Asshole of the Year. Well, then I guess I'm Asshole of the Year. You can't take.
I might put a bet on that.
I'll put you son of a mother. Anyway, with no further ado, let's get down to this week's edition of
Asshole of the Week.
Why don't you go first, brother?
All right. Well, my asshole of the week, and I'm surprised I didn't mention him. It's somebody that you know as well, and it's on the indie circuit in West Coast California. Is Jason Styles.
Jason Styles. Oh, dude, I'll co-sign to that one. Jason Styles is an asshole.
I mean, there are times where he is somewhat cool, but 97% of the time, he's a dick to everybody, to his students, to the people on the show, to fans. I mean, everybody. He's just all about himself. And
well, the thing is, too, he knows that he has Kirk White is one of the big promoters in California, one of the reputable ones. And he knows he's got Kirk's ear. They've been together since the beginning, and that gives him a real sense of entitlement.
Yeah, exactly. I think I couldn't have said a word better than that, entitlement. But it just within that area, he goes outside of that, California or Kirk's promotion. Yeah, he's nobody.
And it's funny too.
That
I've actually been on shows with Jason out of state, and when we get out of state, he's a totally different guy. Just like Schizo, they're totally they watch their P's and Q's. They're decent on the road, but at home, forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just a prick overall. I can tell stories about him, but I know our show is very limited, but that's my nomination. Jason Styles is asshole of the week.
All right, and now my nomination for asshole of the week, and I think you're going to agree with this one. Are you ready?
I am. Okay.
My asshole of the week nomination is you, asshole.
Oh.
That's right. And it's really not for any other reason other than you nominated me for asshole of the week for I'll give it to you. I earned that with that epic rib I did back in California.
Right. Yeah.
But you're just an asshole. Come on.
But it was epic because that rib didn't last for, a show or two. It expanded to almost like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Like it was a long-term rib. So yeah, credit to you on that. I mean,
Owen Hart ain't got shit on me.
That's true.
Oh, but then of course, I mean, I didn't match up to the ordering 25 pizzas to Vince McMahon's room and Vince actually paying for it. That's pretty epic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got pizza for everybody except Owen fucking Hart. Oh, come on, Vince. I paid. I ordered them. Let me have a slice. Oh, shit. So, on our last WrestleShoot, we had the Weapon of Ass Destruction. She was fantastic. I really dug her take on the business from her end. And now we're going to continue on the WrestleShoot, or what we call it, the Ladies of WrestleShoot. And today we have a lady. And you know this name. A lot of you out there know this name. She's wrestled all over the country. And we got her on the line right now. Paloma Starr.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me.
Wait, let's do this the right way. We have Miss Paloma Starr. Oh, feel that love. Feel that love.
Yay! It's weird having people cheer for me. I'm usually a heel, so I was like, oh, what? This clap?
Woohoo! Hey, get that heat however you can get it.
You know it.
It's like when everybody used to make fun of Mick Foley and his cheap heat, when he'd be like, right here in the city of Pittsburgh. I used to love that shit, man. I'm like, hell yeah, get that heat.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
All heat is cheap. No matter how you look at it, it's all cheap. So you got to get it how you can get it.
Very true.
Like, I saw guys all over the country who would go to the ring, right? And they would kiss their biceps. And they would usually get, like, kind of crickets. But when Chris Casanova did that shit, boy, they just hated you. You just brought the hate out so easily. It was amazing. It was always easy to work face when I was working you.
Just a natural asshole, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why you're asshole of the week.
Hey, I'm going to agree with you on that.
So, Miss Starr, let's talk about you. What I gotta ask,
right.
What in the god hell is all that background noise?
It was my dog. It was my dog Rocco messing around with something in my bed.
Tell your dog we're not having the Pets of WrestleShoot until next month.
Right? He wants to be the first guest on that.
So, Chris, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Miss Starr is originally from San Jose.
Ish? No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a Bay Area girl. Was born in San Jose, which is why I'm a diehard 49ers fan. But yeah, originally from California.
Wow, interesting.
Mr. Casanova is also from San Jose.
Wow.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yes. So which street did you grow up on? I bet you I know it.
24th and Santa Clara.
Oh yeah, Santa Clara. Okay, absolutely. Yep, towards downtown area. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly there.
Now,
Capital and Hospital for me.
Did you
that's so cool.
Did you train in California? Because Mr. Casanova comes from APW.
I did not, but I did do a 01 Japan tryout at that school in 2012. So that's the only time that I actually got to do anything so far yet, wrestling wise, in California. I actually trained in Texas. I only lived in California for a very short period of time, and then I moved and grew up in Mexico in Ciudad Juarez, where everybody used to get shot and killed and beheaded. Yeah, that's where I grew up. Unfortunately. And then I moved full time to Texas, to the States, when I was about 8 years old. And I was going to local shows all the time since I was a kid, but I actually started to get my training in Texas.
And whereabouts in Texas did you train? San Antonio?
In San Antonio. Yep, okay. Exactly. In San Antonio. I started off at Anarchy Championship Wrestling. And after that, I went up to Top of Texas in Amarillo, and I finished up my training at the Team Taz dojo in New York with Taz.
Oh, yeah? Taz.
Nice.
Yeah, I was the first woman to train at Team Taz dojo, so that was pretty cool.
Now, see, it's amazing to me that I've never nominated Taz for Asshole of the Week, but maybe we'll get to that for 2021.
There you go.
Because, everybody who knows Taz knows he's an asshole. That's just that he's got that Bronx asshole attitude.
Definitely. He's very intense, that's for sure. I was very scared going to go train with him because I just remember seeing the old WWE Talk Enough, and I just pictured him sitting in that truck yelling at people to run faster, and I thought that's how it was going to be like.
I'll smash a cinder block across his fucking head. Fuck Taz.
I bet you he's a great trainer, though.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, definitely. Very, very good trainer. It's so super, super passionate. And that was back in 2013, I want to say. And back then, I think a lot of people weren't really as enact with social media and how to act and what's the etiquette. And that was one of the very first things that he taught us is actually don't be stupid on social media. Like people are looking at that, and what you say online stays online. So that was he was definitely a very early adapter on the proper etiquette and how to present yourself in social media. So that was actually it was cool hearing that, but I definitely didn't expect that. I just thought it was going to be super hard, balls to the wall, intensity training. But it was also really cool being able to get training from the business and that side aspect of it. So that was really cool.
It's funny. Me and Chris had the UWA wrestling school in Sacramento for a year. We used to tell our students, don't send out dick pics because they don't go away. They stay online forever. And once you get yourself on TV, guess what? People are going to start suddenly finding those pictures. So don't do it.
Very true.
And you got to tell these, especially our guys. I don't know if we just had a particular crop of morons, but man, our guys had no common sense.
Yeah.
Right? We had to beat common sense into them, literally.
You have it, you don't have it.
You should have just had a gimmick where somebody was put on a hood and they were named Common Sense and just beat the shit out of them.
Well, we beat Common Sense into him because we gave him Heat Day more than once. So, if they really screwed up, everybody got to throw chops in, and they didn't like that, so they started getting real careful.
No.
There you go.
So I'm guessing then what your first match was with Anarchy?
It was, yes. I actually don't really remember specifically when my first match was because I did a lot of really stupid bumps. Starting out, like, I was doing so much hardcore stuff that, like, because I was still training, but I still just wanted to be part of the show, wanted to be in front of a crowd, and I was willing to do anything and everything just to get that step in. So I don't really exactly know when my very first match was, which I wish I did, but I did like light tubes, thumbtacks, took barbed wire bats, barbed wire boards, you name it. I took it, everything. So I was really stupid and really young, very naive. Definitely got taken advantage of just because I was so like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to do anything.
Right.
So I definitely, looking back, I should have not done that at all. And I wish I had somebody to tell me, hey, what are you doing? You don't have to do this. But now that I know better, like when I see especially younger women starting out, I always try to be like that person to be like, hey, don't do this. You should do this. Not so much like to tell them what to do, but just so much as like, I've been there. Like I come from, like, don't let what happened to me happen to you too. So.
Yeah,
me and Chris know all about the goddamn hardcore era that was going around. My God, it was like we couldn't seem to get booked unless it was in some kind of a hardcore fashion. But yeah, and a part of you should take a little bit of pride in that because, like, yeah, sure, anybody can get a hardcore booking, but not everybody gets asked to do it again. You know, there's a method on the right way to do hardcore, and there's a wrong way.
That is very true. Very true. Hardcore, for the sake of hardcore, it always kind of loses its touch or its magic. But whenever a hardcore match or is done right, especially when the storyline calls for it, is very well done. It's very well executed. So I do agree. There's definitely a place for wrestling for those hardcore matches. I think it's just the way they're executed and how the story is told is what matters.
And that was the pain of the ass for us, right, Chris? Was just we couldn't seem to get away from it for what, a year, 2 years, a long fucking time.
But the story was, I mean, we had good stories with it. I mean, it was a great build up, and sure, it was just a bloodbath. People just beating the hell out of each other, senselessly. It's like, come on, give me a break. But so that's why people kept bringing this back.
Yeah, but still, I mean, God, I think we only gigged in hardcore matches just a couple of times. Like, you don't got a juice to make a good hardcore match, right?
No, I think so.
So moving back along down your Texas road, is that where you got your first strap?
I did. Yep. Down in, I believe it was NWA Southwest at the time in Amarillo. I was a women's champion there. A super random fun story. The strap was actually made at a prison. So it was I'm like, oh, hey, some prisoners made this belt for you. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. So it was actually really cute. So they did a great job of it. Yeah, it was my very first championship.
I see. That's what we need, Chris. We needed to find prisoners to make our belts. We were spending so goddamn much on them. That's what we needed. We should have gone up to Folsom Prison and said, hey, help us out. I mean, if they're making license plates, they can make a belt, right? That just
makes sense. Course. Absolutely.
But of course, you figure it's going to be more difficult for them to actually cut the pattern of a belt out. Giving them blades is not, I'm sure, something they look forward to doing.
Yeah.
So now you've been doing this for how long?
I've been in the business since 2006. I don't necessarily really count the first 2, maybe even 3 years of my career as even really wrestling, just because I was mainly valeting, managing, and taking all those stupid bumps in hardcore. So I want to say maybe around 10-ish years, give or take. Ouch. But it's always really weird because when people say oh, I've been in it for 10 years or 15 years, yet they wrestle once a month, it's always kind of weird to say that. So I want to say a solid 9 to 10 years is what I would feel comfortable saying.
Well, let me tell you this. Fuck that, man. Being a manager ain't easy. It's not just something any old clown can do it, But then it shows that they're just a clown. But to be a good manager, man, you got to know your psychology. You got to know your bumps, and you're working. So don't dismiss that as not wrestling. Because what is wrestling? Wrestling is a whole show. The ref is just as big a part of the show as the two guys working.
Very true.
So
yeah,
is the valet.
That's
so
right.
is the manager. So is the DJ. If I've had DJs tell me I've been working in the wrestling business for 5 years because they DJ. And if you're working once a month, man, you're working once a month. Good for you. Get those bookings.
That is true. I didn't even think about it that way. But you know what? Yeah, I'll take credit for that. Yeah, I've been in the business since 2006. There we go.
There you go. Because I'm sure people were having fun snatching you up and bumping you around.
Definitely.
Oh, we used to love snatching up women managers, but of course we'd always give them the upper hand, like, oh, we're going to go to give you a suplex and you give us a good nut shot and like a lariat or something. And if they could do it, we could take it, and it was cool. And that got everybody heat.
Yeah, definitely. That's like you said, like get your heat any way that you can, and that was definitely some really good heat when people do that for sure.
Hell yeah. It's like you get the sensational Sherry managers who can work, but you put them in a baby angle. That just blows people away. They're never ready for that.
Oh, yeah.
Very true.
So why don't you take over, Chris? You have some questions?
So you got your first trap in Texas. So what areas have you worked?
Oh man, it was really hard working in Texas just because I was so far up north in the panhandle of Texas in Amarillo when I really started getting into my groove of wrestling, when I really started to like click it and get it. So I still would work in the Houston, San Antonio, Austin area. But since I was so far up, it was actually way easier for me to go to Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado. So I was in Oklahoma quite a bit when I was still living in Texas, but I was hitting up like the states around Texas, especially the northern Texas part. So basically anywhere and everywhere. Of course, there was those couple times where I'd make those crazy long trips from San Antonio to Georgia and wrestle there. I've flown to Philly for a weekend too. So basically anywhere and everywhere, but mainly when I was mainly in Texas, it was like Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, New Mexico, even Wyoming randomly, because who would ever thought there'd be wrestling in Wyoming? But hey, wrestling's everywhere. So right? Wow. Yeah, it was at a show that was a demolition derby, monster truck, and wrestling all in one day, all in one show.
Was Mike Welsh by chance the promoter of that?
I do not remember the promoter's name, but maybe.
Did he talk like this, real gravelly?
For a really long. Yes, that sounds. As soon as he made his voice. Yep. Yes.
I loved working for that guy, man, because he would sell out rodeo grounds, and he was just the classic old surly, mean son of a bitch promoter. Oh, go on out there again, kid. I need you to do it again. I just went on 2 matches ago, so put a fucking mask on. Okay.
He pays great.
He pays great. Yeah.
Yep. I remember that too. I was very specific. I got paid great. I got a really nice hotel room.
Yeah.
I got my food taken care of. Wrestled in front of like 3,000 people that day.
Hey, son of a bitch. Mike Welsh never bought my food. I mean, I was pretty. What's the deal?
Right? You tell him. He owes you food.
But he did take care of the after parties. And boy, if you weren't crawling out of the place, he wasn't happy. Nah, come on back over here, kid. One more. Well,
have another one.
Well, I don't want to be rude, so okay, here I am.
That's great. So you've been around quite a few states.
I have. I think I've wrestled in 17 states so far. Hoping to add even more this year. I mean, obviously, all things permitted, but I was looking to add more to them last year too. But I'm always willing to travel. I love to travel. Anywhere I'd get a booking, I always try to stay like an extra day or two, or go in early to see the fights and all that stuff. But 2020 happened. Hopefully, this year will go better though.
God willing. I don't know, man. Them talking about this damn virus mutating is freaking me out a little bit. Because we're trying to get ourselves on out to Tampa to start wrestling out there. But who knows at this rate.
Yeah.
Well. You wrestled in Tampa? Anywhere in Florida?
I haven't. No, I haven't wrestled in Florida. Now that you mention it, no, I have not yet.
That's surprising.
Initially, when I moved from Texas, I was originally going to move to Florida, but I ended up in Chicago instead since I was getting booked here once a month already. But I really love Chicago. I would love to definitely wrestle in Florida. Hopefully this year, if everything works out, but I'm really looking forward to wrestling in Florida. I mean, especially now, I feel like the Florida scene has definitely picked up quite a bit in the past few years.
Well, I mean, Florida's always been hot. I mean, and that's why I'm surprised if you were out there wrestling in Georgia, nobody said, "Hey, come on, we're going to Florida real quick."
Right, since it's right there.
But then I wrestled in Tallahassee, and I didn't have any offers to go over to Georgia, so yeah. I guess I just kind of disproved my own bullshit. Son of a bitch. My own podcast backfired.
So 2020, you haven't really done anything like wrestle at all in 2020. I know they're doing some shows, but have you done any shows at all in 2020?
I did a handful of shows. I definitely had a full schedule packed. And then I remember wrestling my last match. I think it was like March 13th in Milwaukee versus Elena Black. And that was the last time I wrestled till, I want to say, October. So that was definitely like a big period of time. I had like no shows and a couple of spot shows here and there, but definitely not as much as I was used to at all. Like it definitely hit, I mean, it hit everybody hard, but of course it hit wrestling pretty hard as well. So it was definitely tough for sure.
Wow.
I've noticed there seems to be a real uptrend with the women's wrestling to where they're actually starting to come out there and take it seriously. They're not going through these expedited 2-month classes and then relying on tits and ass to get them booked. They're actually relying on work rate. I mean, since back when we were doing it really actively full time, you had Sarah Del Rey and cheerleader Melissa in the California territory, and that was really it for decent women wrestlers who weren't just all relying on sex sells. Are you
exactly?
What's your take on that?
I definitely do agree. I think there's really for a period of time, I think people were seeing like if the women were society traditional pretty, people were seeing like, oh, you can wrestle. And while the women who are athletes and love wrestling and were really good workers were seen as like not so traditionally pretty. But I feel like now it's a great blend of you could be both. You could be like that super pretty, amazing body woman. And guess what? You could still kick ass in the wrestling ring. But I definitely do think that there was a period of time where so many women were unfortunately using their looks to try to get ahead. I mean, that really honestly happens in any industry. I don't think it's just exclusively for wrestling, but I think with wrestling being such a visual sport, it's definitely seen more, and it's almost a little bit more obvious as well as opposed to other industries. But I definitely do feel like there was a certain time where, unfortunately, women were just looked as, tits and ass or like just eye candy. But I'm so glad that there was women like you mentioned, Sal DeRay, Julie Melissa, Mischief, who broke that mold and like made way to like, hey, you don't need to look a certain way to be an awesome wrestler. And now I still kind of run into those women here and there, but I feel like now it's a better like filtered system where they don't like stick around as much or like people see through that real quick. So it's nice to see that there's a place for everybody, especially in women's wrestling now.
We used to get kind of a kick back in the day out of we'd hear these wrestlers and these promoters talking about, oh, this woman's, she's not really sexy enough to book. And I'd be like, okay, this woman's not sexy enough for you to book, but you'll put this 400-pound fat fuck in the main event? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's open the doors here, man. Let's try something new, you jagoffs. Oh my God, my Pittsburgh is out.
That anymore.
Well, it's not like that, I hope, but it still is like that. I mean, there's still those dirtbag, old school mentality, territory douchebags.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, like, wrestling definitely, I feel like, attracts those type of people. I've always heard and said that, like, wrestling is for broken people, by broken people. So I feel like it always attracts those very specific, weird, douchey people all around. So definitely have my fair share running into some of those.
That sounds kind of similar to what Honky Tonk Man used to say, right? About wrestling fans.
Oh yeah,
If you want to have a successful wrestling show, Chris, this is what you got to do. You got to do it on the first of the month, so their welfare checks come in. Then they're going to come spend it on the wrestling show and some T-shirts, goddammit. And you want to do it as close to a trailer park as you possibly can.
Exact word.
That was very good. That was a very good impersonation of him.
Oh, we love Honky, man. We've had a lot of good times with that crazy old man. I can't see, goddammit. Don't let him hit me with the chair. I can't see, goddammit.
Oh my gosh, his rants are great though. He'll rant and then he'll stop and pause and look at you for the reaction.
Not even look at you, favorites. Stare at you. Right?
Yeah,
in mid story, he just stops and stares at you and waits for any kind of a reaction before he continues.
And he'll stay there for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you waiting for me to say something here? I'm just making sure you're paying attention, goddammit. God damn, fucking Jimmy Snook. Wait, listen to him and Snooka talk back and forth. I'm like, okay, this is definitely the old Carney convention. We're out. You guys go ahead and keep talking. Oh Jesus, they were great.
So biggest inspiration for you in this business?
Definitely Eddie Guerrero. I grew up in El Paso, which is where Eddie Guerrero's from too. Actually went to the same high school as Eddie Guerrero. Eddie was regarded so highly in my hometown. Like everybody knew who he was.
Everywhere.
Everybody loved him. Everybody praised him. Yeah, everywhere. You're totally right. Everywhere, but definitely he had that hometown pride. It was always so cool hearing him say from El Paso, Texas. Anytime that he would get announced anywhere. Definitely a big inspiration was Eddie Guerrero for sure. Like seeing him come up from like the same culture, the same area, the same high school as I did. I was like, what? That's so cool. So definitely Eddie Guerrero was like the biggest inspiration for me. It even started before I got into the business, and even still while I'm in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's left that effect on everybody.
He was actually going to come out and do a signing for us a week after he died. We had a
oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Mm-hmm. We were with Iron Sheik and Captain Lou. Woke up in that hotel room, and then we woke up to newspapers in front of our freaking hotel room door with Eddie's picture on there saying he's dead. I'm like, oh my God, this isn't how I wanted to start today.
Totally.
Eddie was a hell of a dude. And I'll tell you, there wasn't. If you're having a bad day, he was a lot like Bobby Heenan. If you're having a bad day, even if he's tired, he turns on his gimmick and his character until he gets a laugh out of you. He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
So what about women wrestlers speaking? Who would have inspired you on that end?
Definitely when I was younger, it was definitely Lita and China for me. I remember being in the playground and all the kids wanting to play wrestling. And we would always like, oh, I'll be this person. I'll be this person. And I'll be like, oh, I'm Lita. Or like, oh, I'm China. So definitely I would even like try to wear baggy pants. And I obviously didn't have my underwear sticking out like she did. But I wanted to be like wear baggy pants and wanted to be like her. And I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to do a moonsault. I still can't do a moonsault. But that's definitely what I thought when I was a kid. But they were definitely big inspirations because they were like always the cooler looking ones in my opinion. Like I always thought like Trish and stuff were cool, but I never thought they like stood out to me or like related to me. So I always wanted to be like the cool tomboyish girl out there in the playground, like playing wrestling with all the guys while they chased us around doing the crotch chop suck it to us. So it was definitely Lita and China growing up for sure.
So nice. All right, Chris, what about you? Who's your favorite female wrestler?
My female wrestler,
yeah, she
growing
picked two,
up.
so why don't you pick two? No, not even growing up, just your favorite two.
My favorite two, man, I'd say Lunder Blaze and Moolah.
A Lunder Blaze, you son of a bitch. That was an inside rib on me, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
He'd say, "Oh, why don't you throw one of your Lunder Blaze drop kicks tonight?" You son of a bitch. You're just mad because you couldn't do without landing on your ass.
Yeah. But
All
yeah,
right.
no, both are great workers from different eras. Obviously, I mean, yeah, I was a young man when Moolah was kind of her last few years, but God, just she could work anybody. Of course, London Blaze was just a natural talent. I mean, in that era. But so those are my inspirations.
I'm going to go with Sensational Sherry and Ivory.
Those are good ones.
I've been watching lots of old stuff, but and I forgot how good Ivory was. She
Ivory
definitely
was
was
the
really
best,
good, especially
yeah.
so good. Especially being an originally woman from Glow too. She was really good.
Oh man, I had such a crush on Ivory until I met her. Oh God, stop talking so much. I mean, there's no off button for Lisa. She just put your hand over her mouth and you hear. Well, she was what, an hour late to the signing? Asshole.
Yeah, hour late.
Cost us about $1,000.
But
Then she
she was
shows
good,
up
though.
and she was so perky and peppy, like you want to be mad at her, but you're like, all right, just whatever. It's only money, I guess. But you get that woman in the ring, and I think that's probably one of the things that I say turned me on the most about her was, I mean, she's very pretty, but man, in that ring, she was magic.
Yeah, she could go before women could even really go. So it was great seeing her.
Well, no, I think she was the rebirth of bringing women's wrestling back for a while when she came, because I mean, you went from like Sherry was kind of the end of it with Sherry and Rock and Robin and all them gals. And then it dropped off to just TNA, paddle on a pole match, bunch of garbage. Then they bring in Ivory and Molly Holly and Trish, and they just really elevated it. China, pushed it up above to where it's been for so long. All of a sudden, women's wrestling was respected again.
Definitely, and I love to see that different story arc that I feel like goes in waves, but that goes in waves with any type of wrestling, any style of wrestling. So it's really cool to see the different waves that women wrestling has come about through the years. I mean, we're even in a different wave right now as well. So it's just so cool to see it all. And now with like the technology, we can go back and see where it started, where we were been, and where it's going.
Sure. So, do you think you've dealt with more obstacles than the boys would?
Probably, I would think so. I think maybe different obstacles that a lot of maybe guys don't necessarily would see themselves at, especially with the crazy, weird messages, not only from the creepy fans, but even the promoters themselves, unfortunately, sometimes. But also having to prove yourself just because of your gender. I mean, a lot of times I definitely wrestle with a chip on my shoulder. And I remember when I was, starting out, everyone would be like, oh, you're really good for a girl, or you're good for a girl. Like, I hated that asterisk that would come after you're really good, or like, why can't I just be good, or why just couldn't be like, oh, I'm doing better, or like, what does my gender have to do with anything? And I think that goes with anything, but especially in wrestling. I've been told so many times that, like, you're not pretty enough, and like, I feel like guys may be told, oh, you're not in good shape, but they're never really necessarily like reduced down to their attractiveness. Like, and I feel like that's something different that women do have to deal, that I've had to deal with it too. But I feel like now it's more at the forefront, and how women are equal through everything. But I feel like I'm so glad that now it's more at the forefront and people realize that. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it still happens. There's still weird, creepy fans and very inappropriate people, but I don't think it happens as much as it used to at one point, for sure. And then I used to have a promoter who would hit on me, and then he'd book me, and then when he didn't see that I was reciprocating it, he would unbook me. Like that would never happen to a guy. I feel like, but I'm definitely a feminist. I believe in equality of all genders. So I'm glad that that's kind of like working itself out. There's still definitely some room for improvement, but just as long as we see an improvement, I think we're heading in the right direction.
I don't remember if it was our gig, Chris, or if it was a gig we were at. You'll remember this when I tell it, but there was something along the lines of, I think it was Sarah was on a show with us, and somebody made some kind of a crack, at her, some kind of a sexual crack, and you just lit up on him. You were pissed. You're like, hey, dude, she doesn't need to come here to get a fucking date with dirtbag wrestlers. She doesn't have any problems getting a date. She came here to work. You remember that?
Yeah, that was over out in Chico, I believe.
Is that Brian Cage's show?
Yeah, it was Brian Cage's show.
Right.
What you call it? Yeah. And I don't remember the person, but yeah, it was.
I want to say it was Douchebag Luxury.
Could be. Very appropriate though. It's just, she's there trying to be professional and trying to, do her job, and there's no business for that in there. I mean, there's definitely a time and a place for that, and at that point, that was not the time or the place.
You got hot, man. But you and Sarah go back. I mean, you guys have a real history. So, but still, I mean, you saw something shitty happen, and you just jumped right on it, and you put the fear into him. You thought he was going to get knocked the fuck out that day.
Oh yeah. And
I thought he was going to get knocked out too. I was like, all right, Chris, calm down. Sarah can take him anyway. Don't worry about it.
Oh, she's the real deal.
Yeah, she's legit.
Yeah.
Sarah Dell.
That's awesome. And hey, thanks for standing up for her. That's really cool. I'm glad there's dudes out there that are willing to do that. So shout out to you.
It seems like they're few and far between though. But yeah, I mean, we had the same thing with Serafini out here in Pittsburgh. We did that show where somebody made some kind of a wisecrack comment about, I like how those tights look on you or something. And I told him, you're about to go home, dude. You need to apologize. And he did. Oh, well, I'm really sorry. I'm just playing. We don't play like that here.
No.
Yeah, like, how would you feel like if I was talking to your sister, your daughter, your mother, like, regardless if they're still a woman? So it's definitely very inappropriate, no matter if you're playing or not. I'm glad that was squashed. So shout out to you guys. Yay, there should be more of you guys.
And most guy wrestlers, they turn on their gimmick so freely because personally they're just so thin-skinned and they have such a fragile ego. So, and I say this because Sarah said it to me outside. She's like, one of these days when these guys say something about my ass or my chest, I'm going to say, you should probably put a sock in your tights if you're going to go out there. I was like, oh man, that guy might kill himself. You can't do that. Yeah, you might want to try to lump it up and make it look like you have a bigger bulge than your girlfriend,
That's great.
Hey, all fair play.
So you have anything exciting coming up?
I have a show coming up this weekend, which I'm really excited about, and I have a show coming up next month where I'm defending one of my women's titles that I have. Actually, now that I think about it, both matches coming up are defending my two out of three women's titles that I currently do have. So that should be fun. So it's a good time to get into the ring, especially right now. Willing to take anything and every time I can get. I don't take it for granted. So I'm really excited about that.
And where are they going to be? Come on, plug them. Let's get some details.
Oh, yeah, right? I should probably say that.
Yeah.
Right? That might be a good thing to say.
Hey, so you're going to have some irritated promoters if you don't.
Yeah, but how are you going to get on the podcast and not put us over?
Right.
So this Saturday, I'll be at Southland Championship Wrestling in Chevenix, Illinois. Well, I'll be defending my Southland Championship Women's Wrestling title. And then on February 20th for War in Lima, Ohio, another match for my women's title there as well. I love wrestling at War. Like, I never thought I would wrestle in Ohio as much, but I feel like Ohio was my new Oklahoma. Like when I was working in Texas, but it's definitely like a really cool place to wrestle at that runs very safely as well.
Ohio's a hot territory, man. I used to go out to Lima every now and again and work when Al Snow was doing his thing out there, and Lima's a hot territory.
Yeah, it really is. And it's great to see so many more women come through there because I remember when I was in Texas, it was maybe like the same 4 women that would have to wrestle over and over again to the point where we all knew each other's moves. So it's great to see the new generation of women coming through and so many more women wanting to do it and actually loving wrestling as opposed to like doing it because they want the attention or doing it for any other reason besides loving it. So it's great to see young women getting out there and doing it and me able to wrestle them and being able to wrestle somebody new almost every other time is really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that stigma when people... That was another thing about me and Chris. You know, we worked so well together that, especially during that damn hardcore era, they kept wanting to book us, and we got to the point where, Jesus Christ, we can't do anything new. Give us some new guys.
Right? Totally. Definitely. And then I also help co-host a YouTube show called Ring the Bell, where we focus on only women's wrestling, where we talk about news and rumors, review some shows. But it's really cool. It's really fun. So if anybody wants to check it out, Ring the Bell on YouTube.
And what's your Facebook? Let them get a hold of you there.
Definitely. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I love being super interactive. Just as long as you're respectful, I'll probably reply back. Paloma Starr with 2 R's on all across social media. But definitely love, come on over, say hi. Also, you can find me under the Sriracha Muchacha, my pro wrestling tea store, because I love Sriracha and I'm a muchacha and it's not a gimmick. I really do love Sriracha.
Sriracha Muchacha. That's cool.
Yep,
That's
there
clever.
you go.
And everybody, it's Paloma, Paloma Starr on Facebook and all the other good platforms. And you should definitely make sure to hit her up. I mean, I think the first time that we met you was at, God damn it, Anarchy. When we were when we were the Border Patrol doing that gimmick for a while.
Yeah,
so we go way back.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, that was really so long ago.
Oh yeah, we tried to work for Mr. Mexico out there too, and that didn't go well. That guy was a fucking jabroni. You ever meet that dude? Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny.
My God,
it's so crazy, huh? Like wrestling's such a small world. You never know when you're gonna run into somebody that you met forever ago. And look at us now. Here we are.
Just like old brothers. Except for one of us isn't a brother.
Wow, Border Patrol. Wow, that brings that.
That was way back then, boy. We had fun with that shit. Then I remember that douchebag, Mr. Mexico. Oh well, I see you guys being face. Wait a minute, what? We are not only in Texas, but we are in a predominantly Hispanic part of Austin wrestling for you. And you think the Border Patrol is going to get baby heat? Are you how?
Yeah.
See, I was trained by Paul. I was trained by Paul DeMarco, and he used to make fun of Mr. Mexico. He showed me a match once upon a time where DeMarco and Alex Knight and Mr. Mexico were having a 3-way, and they just pounded on him the whole match. Barely went to each other at all. They were just taking George to town, man. He's like, watch out for this guy because you're going to run into him. I'm like, how are we going to ever run into this guy? Well, he was right. Him and his idiot protege, Ray, who was probably hands down the worst wrestler I've seen, who calls himself a trainer. Huh.
Oh, man.
Okay, easy.
Gotta love those.
Take it easy. Breathe. Gruska. Gruska. Serenity now! Well, all right. We are getting right about that time because, like I say, on most of our interviews, podcast listeners have notoriously short attention spans, and we don't want to lose them. But, Miss Starr, this was awesome. Thanks for being part of the Ladies of WrestleShoot. We're gonna.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad it finally worked out. I know our schedules were a little bit weird for a little bit. But it's so great to see you guys, or talk to you guys, not see you, but crazy how far we go back and look at us now. But thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. Happy to be here.
Just want you to know the difficulty of connecting was all Chris's fault.
I'll take the blame.
Damn it, Chris.
Damn it, Chris. Goddamn, Chris. Be careful. Chris is a crowbar.
Stop saying that.
Stop saying that.
That was part of the rib, by the way, but...
You want to tell her the rib real quick? Because it was funny.
We have time? We
got a couple more minutes. It's only a couple minute story.
All right. So, gosh, this goes back, 2005, 2004?
Man, 2000, long time ago.
So, it's word of promoting. So, anybody I would work, they're like, hey, we're gonna be okay out there. I'm like, well, yeah, of course we're going to be okay. He goes, okay, we'll get our match talked about or anything like that. He said, well, I'm hearing that you're a little stiff. I'm like, oh, it's cool, dude. I said, I'm not stiff. So we do our match, and anyway, and then the next person I work, and I don't know, it went on for like a year and a half, and I get the same damn question every time. Hey, are you be okay out there? Finally, after a year and a half, I asked the guy, I'm like, who the hell's telling you this like that? Because I've been hearing this for fucking a year and a half. He goes, it's Rob like that. I was like, that son of a bitch like that. Like, he's telling everybody. So everybody's scared of me to work in the ring. Oh, you're going to be stiff on me tonight. It's going to be an easy match. What's going on?
Now, but this is how it started, all right, Chris?
No, that's how it started.
No, this is how the rib started, because Chris was the tag champ with this cat Aiden out there, and he'd been the champ for like well over a year, and he's like, it's time to drop the belts, and he chose this tag team. They were called Rage and Steel. Now, Rage was just this big fat dude, and he was really sloppy, but he brought a lot of people who paid to come see him, and him and Ed Steele worked really well as a tag team. But if Chris is going to drop the belts to these guys, they got to go out there and they got to really earn it, right?
It's got to look good.
So I pulled
right, exactly. There you go.
So I pulled Rage aside about 2 weeks before their match, and I said, "Okay, listen, man, I'm telling you this because we're friends. If you go out there with Chris and you try to take liberties or you get sloppy, he is going to snap and he is going to fuck you up." Because everybody in town knew that Chris is really a shooter. Like, he can shoot. Nobody wants to press him because they're probably going to get stretched. So I see him a couple days later, and I'm like, dude, I hope you're getting into the gym, man. I don't want to see Chris whip your ass. And then the week before the show, I said the same thing. So he had been in the gym almost every day for 2 weeks getting ready, and he did a great match. The word started spreading around the boys that, oh God, Chris is a crowbar. You got to watch out. Chris is crazy.
Now, wait a minute.
Hold on. I'm not done. So word started spreading around the boys. But, oh, Chris is crazy. He's a crowbar. Well, how do you know? Ask Rob. Well, shit, this is gold, man. This is on my plate. So, hell yeah. I squeezed every drop out of that. With people from other states, man, coming into Wrestle Chris, they're like, hey, man, why are you booking me with the crowbar? And I said, hey, dude, just go out there and work right, and you won't get hurt.
Yeah, he went with it. But, yeah, it was the same goddamn question every time. Hey, are we going to be okay out there? Yeah, of course we're going to be fine. Like, it's going to be good. What are you talking about? It felt like a year and a half. I just had it. I'm like, who's saying this? Like,
and then he comes up to me after his match. He's like, motherfucker, quit telling everybody I'm a crowbar. That's why
you are.
That's why I got nominated for Asshole of the Week, because for that story. Ooh, here's the good friends. All right. We're at the 53-minute mark, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and let's keep posted. Let's have you come on back on. Yes?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Was I rambling?
Like, wait, am I still on? No, you weren't. Yeah, we'll definitely love to come back anytime for sure. This was a great time. I definitely had fun.
Good deal. Chris, any parting words of wisdom, brother?
Oh, man. I'm still pissed about team loss this weekend, but...
Yeah. You know what? I'm pissed for you. I get it.
Yeah. But Paloma Starr, thank you for coming on. It was such a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to you coming back.
Thank you. Looking forward to it as well. You guys have a good night.
All right. And until next time, boys and girls out there in internet land, Rob Wilds, Chris Casanova, Paloma Starr saying peace, love, and wrestling.